My ex texted demanding I pay for her new wedding. "You owe me for the years I wasted," I replied. "Interesting calculation." Then I sent her an itemized bill for all the debts she racked up on my credit cards during our wasted years. Her new fiancé saw the bill and was angrily calling her for answers. Original post 35M. I'm still processing, though it's been a good 18 months since Amanda, 33F, and I split. Our 5-year relationship ended when she took a supposed amazing work opportunity interstate, which, surprise, surprise, turned out to be her moving in with Jason, 40-something M, a guy she'd been vaguely mentioning from some networking events. Yeah, classic. It gutted me at the time. Standard breakup protocol followed. Blocked her everywhere. Therapy, gym, leaned on mates. I've moved on. New job, new focus, and I've been seeing Stephanie for a few months now. She's fantastic and, refreshingly, has her own life and career. Life had found a new, calmer rhythm. Until yesterday. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. Text message. Then another. Curiosity got the better of me. It was a veritable essay from Amanda. "Amanda, Ryan, I know it's been ages, but I have wonderful news. I'm getting married. To Jason. I'm unbelievably happy, and it's made me reflect. Honestly, you owe me. For the years I gave you, years I could have been building this incredible life with Jason sooner. I was young, I invested my time and energy into US. So as a gesture of goodwill, and to compensate for that lost time and the emotional distress, I think it's only fair you contribute to our wedding. We're looking at the Evermore package at Luxury Venue Name Redacted. It's quite pricey. I think $10,000 from you would be appropriate. For my wasted youth and the emotional toll. Let me know the best way to arrange the transfer." I had to read it twice. $10K for her wasted youth and emotional toll? The audacity was breathtaking. My first thought was to block and ignore. My second was a surge of that old familiar anger. My third, the one that settled in, was a sort of grim, methodical resolve. She wasted years? An emotional toll she wants compensation for? Okay. I replied, "Amanda, congratulations on your engagement. That's an interesting perspective on wasted years and compensation. I'll need to review my own records from that period to understand the full picture. Give me a little time." Then I got to work. After she left, I'd already spent a miserable couple of weekends trying to untangle our shared financial history for my own sanity and tax purposes. I'd used budgeting software for years, which helped categorize things, plus I'm a bit of a digital hoarder with receipts for anything significant. So, pulling the data wasn't starting from scratch, but it still took the better part of my evening and the next morning to consolidate it into something coherent, focusing only on her clearly personal expenses that ended up on my cards. See, during our time together, Amanda, an aspiring influencer, had a knack for brand building. This meant a constant stream of new clothes, some gifted, many not, high-end cosmetics, spa treatments, networking brunches, and the latest tech. A lot of this landed on my credit cards, where she was an authorized user for what was supposed to be joint expenses and emergencies. I was naive, I admit. I'd rationalized it, telling myself I was supporting her dream, and yes, I was foolishly hoping it would make her happy or secure in the relationship. The debt I formally cleared after she bounced was significant. I drafted an email, subject, your perspective on compensation. Attached was a carefully compiled PDF, itemizing her personal expenditures charged to my accounts. Numerous boutique clothing purchases beyond reasonable joint spending, aggregated approx $15,500. High-end salon spa services, non-negotiated, non-joint, approx $6,200. Luxury skincare and makeup, brands like Ethereal Glow, etc., beyond shared toiletries, $200 month of 48 months, estimate, equals $9,600. Networking lunches, dinners, solo or with friends, documented on her own IG. AVG 300 month, 48 months, equals $14,400. Personal tech upgrades, her phone, tablet, specific influencer gear, approx $4,500. Cash advances, withdrawals from my card for emergencies that coincided with her personal trips or shopping, $3,800. Grand total, $54,000. My email, Amanda, following up on your text. I've reviewed my financial records from the period you mentioned. My records indicate a substantial imbalance in financial contributions, with a significant sum covering your personal, non-joint expenditures. Attached is a summary. Given this, your request for an additional $10,000 seems to overlook this outstanding amount. Perhaps this is a conversation you and Jason should have before your wedding, to ensure all past financial matters are transparently addressed. Wishing you the best, Ryan sent. Blocked her number immediately after. A wave of something, relief, nerves, vindication washed over me. Was it too harsh? No. She opened this door. This morning my phone rings. Another unknown number. My stomach tightens. I answer. It's a man. Voice tight with anger. Is this Ryan? He practically shouts. Me speaking. May I ask who's calling? Him. It's Jason. Amanda's fiancé. What the hell is this document you sent her? Are you trying to mess with our wedding with this fake bill? So, she showed him. Or he saw it. Interesting. Me, keeping my voice level. Jason, good to speak with you. No, I'm not trying to mess with anything. Amanda contacted me yesterday requesting a significant sum of money as compensation for her time with me to put towards your wedding. I simply responded to her financial claim with a summary of her personal spending on my accounts during that same period. It's for context. Compensation? She said you owed her. This $50 odd grand. She wouldn't just spend that. These are lies. The transactions are all documented in my credit card statements, Jason. She was an authorized user. Perhaps you should discuss her spending patterns and financial history with her directly. For example, the Stella Aura handbag she often carries. A gift from you, perhaps. He sputtered. A handbag? What's that got to do with anything? You're just bitter. Me. Not bitter, Jason. Just someone who received an unexpected financial demand and responded with facts. Amanda's version of your shared past or her financial dealings might be something you two need to clarify. I wish you both well. Hung up. The sheer unadulterated entitlement is astounding. And now her fiancé is getting a glimpse. I have a feeling this isn't over. Update 1. 1 week later. It's been a week since Jason's angry call. The immediate aftermath was a flurry of calls from blocked numbers and a few vague, emotional texts from numbers I didn't recognize. Probably Amanda testing the waters. I ignored them. Then, her best friend, Melissa, 32F, who always seemed to live vicariously through Amanda's Instagram life, messaged me on social media. Melissa, Ryan, you really need to stop this. Amanda is an absolute wreck. Jason is questioning everything. That bill you sent is clearly exaggerated and taken out of context. She contributed in other ways. Her support, her time. That has value. Her time had value, apparently to the tune of $10, but the 54 kilos she burned through was just context, right? Me. Melissa, Amanda demanded $10,000 from me, claiming I owed her for her past time and emotional distress to fund her wedding to another man. I provided a factual summary of her personal spending that I covered. If she disputes the specific transactions, that's a matter for her to take up with the credit card companies. As for her non-financial contributions, I'm sure they were considerable, but they don't negate the financial reality she left behind. Melissa, you're being deliberately cruel. She's fragile. Everyone makes mistakes. Jason is seriously rethinking the wedding because of your actions. He's worried she has a spending problem because of what you said. Me. My actions? I responded to a demand. If Jason is concerned, it's likely based on the information presented and whatever Amanda has or hasn't told him. That's between them. Blocked Melissa. The enabler energy was too much. Next, an email landed from Amanda's mother, Brenda, 60F. Brenda always had a way of making me feel like I was perpetually auditioning for the role of good enough for Amanda. An audition I apparently always failed, despite bankrolling a lifestyle Amanda couldn't afford. Subject regarding Amanda's well-being. Brenda Ryan, I am deeply disappointed by your recent vindictive actions. Amanda informed me of your outrageous financial claims and your attempt to damage her relationship with Jason. She dedicated years of her life to you. You should be focusing on your own life instead of trying to sabotage hers. Much of what you're claiming were shared expenses, things a man should provide in a relationship. Jason is a wonderful, stable man, ready to give Amanda the security she deserves. You should retract your baseless claims, offer Amanda a sincere apology, and seriously reconsider her very reasonable request for a contribution. It's the least you could do after the upheaval you've caused. Upheaval I've caused. And $54 is baseless. Wow. I debated ignoring it, but the man should provide bit irked me. Me, Brenda. Thank you for sharing your perspective. This situation arose solely because Amanda demanded $10,000 from me. My response was a factual summary of her personal expenditures on my accounts, not a demand from my end. These were not primarily shared expenses in any equitable sense. I have the detailed statements. If Jason is the provider you believe him to be, then perhaps he can address Amanda's past financial imbalances or fund the wedding without seeking contributions from her ex-partners. My involvement in this ended when she chose to leave. Her recent demand reopened it. I will not be retracting anything, nor will I be contributing. Any further financial demands will be referred to my solicitor. The next day, things took a more personal turn. I got a call from Stephanie, my girlfriend. She sounded a bit hesitant. Stephanie, Ryan, hey. A slightly weird thing happened. A woman named Amanda messaged me on Facebook, said she was your ex, and that you were being very difficult and trying to ruin her wedding with false financial accusations because you're still hung up on her. She said I should be careful because you can be financially manipulative. She even attached a screenshot of what looks like that bill, but parts are blacked out, and she's written notes like he'd buy this. He instances, and this was for both of us. My blood pressure spiked. Amanda was now actively trying to mess with my current relationship. That's a declaration of war. Me, Stephanie, I am so incredibly sorry you got dragged into this. Yes, that's her. The bill is a real summary of her spending on my cards. Her annotations are self-serving lies. She demanded money. I showed her what she'd already cost me. I can walk you through everything, show you the actual statements if you want. Stephanie was quiet for a moment. Okay, wow, that's a lot. Thanks for the honesty, Ryan. Honestly, the all caps and the manic scribbling on the screenshot already made me think she was pretty unhinged. And financially manipulative? From what you've told me about your budgeting and how you handle money, that sounded way off. I trust you. But Jesus, she's playing dirty. Stephanie's understanding was a huge relief, but it also solidified my resolve. Amanda had crossed a line. I started looking into options, not just to shut her up, but to actually address some of that debt. A friend mentioned that while the whole $54 was likely a lost cause without a major legal battle, specific, more recent, and clearly identifiable non-gift items or cash advances might be pursuable, especially if she still possessed the items. This wasn't just about money now. It was about drawing a final uncrossable line. Update 2. 1 month later. Things have certainly escalated, but not in the way Amanda probably hoped. Her attempt to paint me as a manipulative ex to Stephanie? Total backfire. Stephanie saw it as a sign of Amanda's desperation, and it actually made us talk more openly about past relationships and boundaries. So thanks for that, Amanda. The social media smear campaign, however, did mildly materialize. Vague posts from Melissa and a couple of Amanda's more distant relatives popped up on some community pages about a vindictive ex trying to derail a beautiful new beginning with financial bullying. No names, but close enough to our situation that a couple of old mutual acquaintances raised an eyebrow in my direction via text. I didn't engage. My solicitor, however, drafted a pretty firm cease and desist concerning defamation and harassment. We sent it to Amanda, Melissa, and Brenda after Amanda's next stunt. I started getting password reset notifications for old email accounts and even my Amazon account. Nothing compromised, thanks to 2FA, but it was a clear pattern of harassment. The letters seemed to quiet that down. The real developments came via Jason. It seems my itemized bill, coupled with Amanda's subsequent meltdown and denials, planted a seed of doubt that started to grow. A casual acquaintance of mine works at a high-end car dealership. He mentioned Jason had been in a few weeks prior, looking stressed and asking about the terms of a lease Amanda was driving, a fairly new luxury SUV, a Glacier XT90. Jason had co-signed, and it was clear he was exploring options to get his name off it or have Amanda assume it solo, which, given her actual income, was unlikely. He was clearly starting to look into things. Then, about a week ago, Jason called me again. His voice was different this time. No shouting, just a kind of weary, flat tone. Ryan, Jason here. Listen, that document you sent Amanda, the handbag, the trips, all that spending, was that for real? Like, provable? Me, Jason, I have digital credit card statements for all of it. Many items align with her own social media posts from that time. if you wanted to cross-reference. Why do you ask now? Things haven't been smooth. She keeps saying you faked it all, that you were always controlling with money, and this is you trying to get back at her. But I've seen some things with our current finances that are making me wonder. She's been using a joint card I gave her for wedding deposits and household things, and the spending doesn't quite add up. Significant amounts at designer stores, online boutiques I've never heard of. Me. I can't speak to your current situation, Jason, but regarding the past, yes, the spending was real. I was far too lenient, hoping to keep the peace or that she'd eventually become more responsible. It didn't happen. The Stella Aura handbag, for example, was definitely not a gift from me. It appeared shortly after a rather large unexplained cash advance from one of my cards. Jason was quiet for a long moment. A cash advance, right? She told me you bought her that bag to apologize after a fight. This is a lot to process. The wedding planning is on hold. We're arguing constantly about money, about honesty. She just cries and says I don't trust her, that I'm listening to a bitter ex. Me. Look, Jason, I don't want to be involved in your relationship. My issue was with Amanda demanding money from me. If she continues to lie about me to you, or if her harassment starts up again, my solicitor is ready to take further action. For what it's worth, if you're seeing patterns now, they probably existed before. Yeah, I'm starting to get that. Thanks, Ryan. I've got some thinking to do. He sounded exhausted. My solicitor, after the cease and desist, suggested sending Amanda a formal letter of demand for a smaller, more easily provable portion of the debt. We focused on the $3,800 in cash advances that were clearly for her personal use and a couple of high-value, non-gift items purchased in the last year of our relationship that she still possessed, totaling around $7,500. The letter stated we were prepared to pursue this in small claims court if not settled. It's not the full $54, but it's a concrete sum tied to specific, hard-to-dispute transactions. It makes a statement that there are consequences. The wedding is on hold. Amanda is apparently bouncing between staying with Brenda and Melissa. The silence from her camp is telling. Final update, 6 months later. It's been roughly 7 months since Amanda's audacious wedding fund request landed in my texts. The drama has largely fizzled out, and the resolution, while not explosive, has been deeply satisfying in its own quiet way. Amanda and Jason? Officially over. After Jason's call to me, he apparently confronted Amanda with his own findings about her spending on their joint accounts in the SUV. He demanded full financial transparency, suggested financial counseling, and insisted on a prenup if they were to proceed. Amanda, predictably, reacted with hysterics, accusations of him being controlling, and denials. Jason, having seen the light, finally ended it. The Evermore wedding package was canceled. I heard through the grapevine, that dealership acquaintance, that Jason managed to get out of the SUV lease after some wrangling, but Amanda lost her fancy ride. Last I heard, Jason was seeing a financial planner for himself. Good for him. What about my letter of demand for $7,500? Amanda ignored it, naturally. So, my solicitor proceeded with a small claims court filing. Amanda failed to appear for the hearing. Default judgment awarded in my favor. Collecting it is another matter, of course. She's apparently between opportunities. Read, actual paying work, as her influencer shtick seems to have faded without a lavish backdrop, and is primarily living with Brenda. However, the judgment is on her record. It will accrue interest, and it'll be a flag if she ever applies for significant credit or certain types of employment. It's an official acknowledgement of the debt. The smear campaign vanished after the solicitor's letters. Melissa even sent Stephanie a brief, awkward apology message on social media, saying she got bad advice and was trying to support a friend but went about it the wrong way. Stephanie just read it, rolled her eyes, and deleted it. Brenda is, by all accounts, still championing Amanda as the perpetually wronged victim. Some people are immune to reality. The most satisfying part hasn't been a dramatic gotcha moment, but the steady, inevitable unfolding of consequences stemming from Amanda's own actions and entitlement. She tried to manipulate Jason. It failed once he saw concrete evidence of her patterns. She tried to extort me. It resulted in her own past debts being officially recognized. She tried to undermine my current relationship. It only made it stronger. I don't know for sure what Amanda's day-to-day life is like now. I did hear from a mutual acquaintance who ran into her that she seemed stressed and was complaining about how unfairly everything had turned out for her. There was no grand, public humiliation, no dramatic confrontation, just the quiet erosion of a lifestyle built on deceit and other people's money. Stephanie and I are doing great. We're actually planning a trip to Southeast Asia next year. We're saving for it together. It feels good, healthy, and real. Amanda demanded $10,000 for her wasted years. Instead, she accelerated the implosion of her new relationship, got a court judgment against her, and hopefully learned something about accountability. Though I won't hold my breath on that last part. Her attempt to rewrite history and bill me for it was indeed an interesting calculation. The final balance, however, was not in her favor. I'm content with that.